You know what nobody tells you about being smart? It can go wrong. Meet Orange Kid. Straight A's, highest score in the class. Teachers didn't just love him, they used him as an example. See that? That's what success looks like. He believed him. He's 32 now, still preparing, still researching, still waiting for the perfect moment to actually do something. The kid who copied his homework in ninth grade just opened his third business. Orange Kid sent him a very well-worded congratulations email. He did not reply. What went wrong? Wasn't intelligence supposed to be the cheat code? In this video, we're going to break down exactly how being smart quietly becomes the thing that holds you back. 3 traps, all of them invisible. All of them feel like perfectly reasonable decisions at the time. None of them involve being stupid, which is, unfortunately, not going to make this any easier to watch. Being called smart sounds like a compliment. It isn't. It's a job. And the job description is simple. Don't blow it. When you're 8, everyone claps because you solved the math problem first. When you're 15, teachers call you gifted. By 25, you haven't submitted anything in 3 years. Because somewhere along the way, you stopped asking, "Can I learn this?" and started asking, "What if people find out I can't?" This even has a name. Carol Dweck, Stanford University. 30 years of research. She found that children praised for being smart, not for effort, not for trying, just for being smart, start treating intelligence like a fragile object, something to protect, not something to use. Congratulations, the compliment was a cage. Now, to be clear, this isn't a video about intelligence being the problem. Intelligence is extraordinary. It is an advantage. It compounds over time. The problem is what happens when intelligence stops being a tool and becomes an identity. Because once it's an identity, you can't afford to risk it. So Orange Kid doesn't start the project, doesn't share the idea, doesn't ask the question in the meeting. Because if he tries and fails, it doesn't mean the project failed. It means he's not smart. And that is the one thing he cannot afford. Here's the thing. School prepared him perfectly for school. Think about what school actually rewards. Right answer, fast, clean, no mistakes. Raise your hand first, write the correct formula, get the grade. Orange Kid was exceptional at this game. Real life has different rules. Real life doesn't give you the question in advance. Real life doesn't punish wrong answers. It punishes the person who waited too long to give any answer. And real life absolutely does not care about your GPA. Your invoice does not have a section for extra credit. The person who got B's and shipped something imperfect in October beat the person who got A's and was still perfecting their plan in February. Every time. Orange Kid had 17 bookmarked business ideas. 0 customers. The skill that made him the best student in the room, the obsession with being correct before moving, is exactly what makes him freeze outside of it. Smart people have a superpower that doubles as a trap. They love learning. Which sounds great, and it is great. Right up until learning becomes a reason not to start. Orange Kid doesn't have a procrastination problem. He has a research problem. One more book, one more course, one more podcast episode. His brain gets a hit of dopamine every time he learns something new. Feels like progress. It is not progress. It's very expensive entertainment with a productivity costume on. His Notion workspace had a 5-year strategic roadmap. Reality had never been invited. Here's what actually happens in his head before starting anything. I need to understand the market first. 3 weeks later, I should probably learn more about the competition. 3 months later, I've been thinking maybe I need an MBA. Meanwhile, someone with half his knowledge and twice his audacity launched something, got feedback, fixed it, launched again. While Orange Kid was still reading the book about launching. He wasn't lazy. That's what made it worse. He worked every day, just not on anything that could fail. Smart people are very good at explaining why things didn't work. Not because they're dishonest, because they're very, very good at constructing arguments. The product failed, the market wasn't ready. The pitch got rejected, they didn't understand the vision. The feedback was critical, they're probably not the target audience. Beautiful, airtight logic. Also, completely useless. This is called a self-serving bias. Your brain, especially a smart brain, is extremely good at building a case for why you're not the problem. Because if you are the problem, that means the identity cracks. So the ego steps in, reframes the failure, protects the identity, and Orange Kid learns nothing. Tries the same thing again, slightly differently. Gets the same result, but with a much better explanation this time. So what does the average person have that Orange Kid doesn't? Nothing impressive. That's the point. They ask dumb questions in public without apologizing. They launch things that aren't ready. They get feedback that stings. They fix it. They launch again. They're not afraid to look stupid because they never built an identity around being smart. No identity to protect means no reason to hide, no reason to delay, no reason to spend 4 months researching before doing the obvious thing. The average person fails faster, which means they learn faster, which means, and this is the uncomfortable part, they get better faster. While Orange Kid was watching their progress from the sidelines, taking notes, very detailed notes. Angela Duckworth, University of Pennsylvania. She spent years studying what actually predicts success. Not IQ, not talent, not being the smartest person in the room. Grit. Showing up when it's boring. Trying again when it didn't work. Doing the repetitive, unglamorous thing, seriously, for longer than feels reasonable. The people who won in her studies across industries, across every domain she looked at, weren't the most gifted. They were the most consistent. Small improvements repeated. Impossible to notice in the moment. Impossible to ignore over time. Grit doesn't care about your credentials. It doesn't care what your teacher said about you in 4th grade. It cares whether you showed up today. Orange Kid is starting to understand this. He closed 14 of his 47 tabs. It's not much, but it's the first time he did something before he was ready. Intelligence is not a personality. It's a tool. And like any tool, it's useless if you never take it out of the box. The smartest thing Orange Kid ever did wasn't getting the highest score, wasn't having the best argument, wasn't researching the longest. It was deciding that looking stupid for a moment was worth it. Because the class clown who failed math, he didn't stop failing, he just stopped caring that he failed. And that made all the difference. Orange Kid sent him another email. This time, he replied. Orange Kid is still writing the response. He wants to get the wording right.